Ms Swinson.
Thank you very much. And I will endeavour to be brief. I congratulate my honourable friend, first of all, for securing this debate very timely and highlighting a huge problem, I think, in the body politic today. I'd like to focus on the relationship between party funding and political engagement. First of all, I don't think that we can separate the issue of party funding from party spending. And the amounts of money spent at general elections, I think to most people in the street, just seem a complete anathema. Much has been said so far about the restrictions on television and radio advertising, which I would argue are a very good thing in our society. But the media world has been changing very rapidly over the past few years. Even in the last decade, we've seen a huge increase in the outdoor advertising field, such as billboard advertising, ambient media as well, and of course there's the other avenues such as print. And I suspect that it may be worth revisiting the restrictions on advertising, perhaps to cover some of these other categories. Because as has been mentioned already in this debate, otherwise what you get into is not necessarily engaging people more in politics, but an arms race, as it were, of one party spending £5 million on billboards, so the other party feeling that they have to buy £5 million worth of billboards as well. Frankly, I've yet to meet a voter who's convinced which way they're going to vote on the basis of a billboard. When I go and speak to people, I often find that it's personal engagement that's the most effective. And that's also what I found when I was a marketing manager. Face-to-face marketing is the most impactful. It's not necessarily the most expensive either, but it's incredibly resource intensive if you're going to get volunteers to go and knock on doors. I'm sure there's other members in this chamber who have had the same experience as I have, knocking on a door and speaking to a voter saying, "Do you know, you're the first politician that's ever come and knocked on my door." And while you're delighted that you have knocked on that person's door, you equally feel bad for the thousands of other households in that constituency that you're not going to be able to speak to. Even in my constituency, a target seat for the Liberal Democrats, we didn't knock on every door, and I'd be surprised if there's many constituencies where parties are able to do that. And that's as a result of the declining political membership, the declining participation in politics, which has already been mentioned so far in this debate. Now, if that's the situation that we've got, and we're looking also at the party funding issue, I'm very attracted by ways that we could use this to actually start to put right what is wrong with our political system and start to engage people better in democracy. The Power Report makes a very good recommendation. It's number 20, which proposes the voter voucher scheme, where you go along to cast your vote, you can tick a box and donate £3 each year to the party of your choice, which interestingly enough may not be the party that you vote for. With the rather warped first-past-the-post political system that we have, in many constituencies, people will choose to give their vote to a particular party who have a good chance of winning, but they may actually have a particular affiliation with a different party, and this would give them the choice to vote for the result that they would want, but in the meantime perhaps support parties that they may not think are ready yet to govern or to win the election, but they would like to support their development. I also think this would give the incentive back to parties to engage at that local level. This is a great shame that this has been lost from our current system of party funding. I think the other advantage of a system like this is it provides choice to the voters. Some people have suggested that there may not be public support for state party funding, but this at least gives people the choice of ticking the box or indeed leaving it blank and the money going back to the taxpayer. So I think this is an interesting situation and suggestion worth looking at. I also think the match funding ideas that my honourable friend and the honourable member have both suggested are worth looking at, and I hope the Minister will be addressing these, because it's absolutely vital that we address this issue properly to have more participation and a healthy political system.
Mr Hughes.